Assalamu alaikum. The story I'm about to tell is a personal experience, not just mine, but something that happened with my older sisters, my brother, my aunt, and my aunt's 3 kids. Quick background, I don't live in the civil aviation colony, but there's a small neighborhood right next to it, basically the family quarters by the airport police station. I was born and raised there. The event I'm telling you about happened in the CA colony in a park. We used to walk over to the CA colony a lot because my aunt lived there. After dinner, we'd often go for a walk. It was nice because the grounds are big and open, the air felt fresh, and in a city like Karachi there wasn't much fear of snatching or robbery there, so we could walk without worrying about someone grabbing our phone. It became a habit to walk there every day. This happened in 2004. The park is known as the Children's Park. There was a time when it was completely abandoned with big shrubs everywhere. Then sometime around 2002-2003 the people of the colony or some organization rebuilt it, put in swings, laid grass benches, and people started coming back. After the renovation it got busy, even late into the night, sometimes until 11 p.m. In 2004, during exam season I had 9th grade papers and my older brother had 10th grade and we were busy studying. Around the same time my mom fractured her hand and my dad broke a bone in his leg, so there was a lot of stress at home and we stopped going for our nightly walks. Rumors started about paranormal activity in that park. People said weird things happened there. We thought it was just people's imagination since the park had been closed for so long and was only recently reopened. About 6 or 7 months later, probably in December 2004, we went back out for a walk. It was around 10:30 p.m. When we got to the park something fell off. The place looked strange, many lights were fused out, only 1 or 2 lamps were working, the shrubs were overgrown, and it was completely silent. We told ourselves maybe it was winter and people don't come out that late, so we started playing. I was there with my sisters and my aunt's kids. After 5 or 6 minutes a little boy came in, maybe 6 or 7 years old. We were surprised to see such a small child at the tower, but assumed he was from the street and wandered in. He stayed at a distance from us the whole time. At first he didn't come close, but after a while his behavior started to freak us out. My aunt warned us not to go near the corners where the bushes were thick because it was dark. We saw the boy walk behind those bushes. My aunt was sitting on a bench, the rest of us got off and watched. The boy didn't come up to us, he stayed across the park, maybe 10 or 12 steps away. He was expressionless, just staring at us without blinking. It wasn't clear if he was happy or angry, he was completely still. We were on the swing, just playing, and he walked to a spot about 10 steps in front of us and stood looking at us with that blank face. He was staring in such a strange way that we stopped swinging and came off the swing, thinking maybe he wanted to use it. We stepped aside but kept glancing at him. Then we noticed he was swinging, but not like a kid normally does. He was swinging extremely fast and high, almost too fast to make sense. Then he jumped off and stood perfectly straight on his feet. Anyone who jumps off a swing would usually be hunched or unsteady, but he stood perfectly upright. That was unnerving. There was another ride in the park of the round, wheel-shaped one where you sit around the edge and someone turns it like a steering wheel and it spins. My sister and my aunt's little boy got on it and tried to spin it, but it wouldn't move. Then my brother and I and the rest of us got on, 5 of us trying to make it spin, but it still wouldn't move. Meanwhile, that little boy just stood 10 or 12 steps away watching us with the same blank face. When we got off and walked away to leave, we looked back and the boy was sitting in that round ride, and now he was spinning it so fast it looked fine smooth, like there was nothing wrong with it. The same ride that 5 of us couldn't move was being spun effortlessly by that small kid. We were terrified. We went back to my aunt and told her we wanted to leave. My aunt saw what was happening too, but she didn't immediately lead us out. Maybe she was trying to stay calm, thinking it might be a normal kid. We told her to watch what the child was doing. She said to ignore him, that maybe he was a mischievous kid who'd come to scare people, so we tried to keep playing. But then he walked to the park gate and stood there, blocking the exit. The park is L-shaped and the gate was at the end of one leg of the L. The boy came and stood right by the gate where we had to leave. We got scared. My aunt told the kids to step aside so we could get out, but we were frozen with fear. The boy's face changed. He went from expressions to a crooked smile, like he'd succeeded at something, like he was pleased that he'd frightened us. That smile was the worst part. It was wrong in a way I can't describe. We decided we weren't going to go out past him. My aunt suggested we ignore him and move around the park, thinking he'd leave. We moved a little to the side and she came along, but there was a broken wall nearby and we thought maybe we could squeeze out that way. The problem was that even if we got out through the broken part of the wall, we'd still have to cross the street near the main gate where the boy was standing. At that hour it was getting late, around 11 or maybe 11:45, and we were very frightened. There was one other way out, a more difficult route that turned toward the old Ramada Hotel and the old airport road. The park is visible from that road and there was a small gap in the wall there. But to reach the road from that gap you'd have to cross a deep drainage ditch, the kind that runs right along the airport road. We thought maybe that was our only option, but it would be hard to cross. My aunt had finally understood how serious the situation was. She told us to start reciting Ayatul Kursi in the short surahs and verses we knew. We all started reciting quickly. Then, while reciting, we slipped out near the broken wall and ran toward that gap. We crossed the ditch somehow. It was difficult, but we made it to the other side, then walked toward the main gate, and eventually reached the colony gate and then home. We were so shaken that we avoided the area altogether. When I told my parents, they thought it was probably just some local kid scaring us. But my aunt insisted it wasn't an ordinary child. Eventually my parents believed her, and after that we never went back into that park. Once later, I passed by the park and saw it had gone back to the abandoned state it used to be. The shrubs were huge again, almost taller than the wall. There are other strange events in that area that happened to me, my siblings, and others, and I'll share more in another audio. There's even a house there that was never occupied. It was given to a firm, but nobody could stay there, and eventually it was demolished. I'll tell more about that next time, inshallah.